Hey everyone, I hope you are all having a fantastic day. Today I am going to be challenging myself to draw as many little faces as I can and fill a sketchbook page. The goal is to draw sort of smaller and fill the whole page with faces, but every face has to be unique and I want faces to be looking in different directions. So up, down, left, right, that kind of thing. The goal is to practice drawing faces quickly, loosely, and with character, but also to get out of that habit that I personally have of sort of just sticking to what I know. I want to jump out of that, and I'm going to invite you to draw along with me. So grab a pen or pencil or a Sharpie marker, which is what I'm going to be using, and we are going to jump in and get started. So I hope you join me. I don't really have a plan in place. I am trying to get out of doing what I've always done. And so in the past, I used to draw a whole bunch of circles, and I'll leave links to those videos in the description. But today I'm going to try to just do things a little different. Maybe I'll start with just drawing the eyes. And play around and see what I can create. These were supposed to be tiny faces, but I guess they're small. And maybe I'll draw hair on her after. And we have to remind ourselves that the key is not perfection. The key is to get out of that comfort zone that you're in. And so she's gonna be her hand is gonna be on her face. I'm not sure why, but we're gonna just leave it. And the key for me is to keep going. So I did one looking straight ahead, one to the, she's sort of looking off, and I don't want to be overly invested. I want this woman to be looking up. I don't want to be overly invested in mapping out the face, because that's something we do a lot in aiming for perfection is mapping out the face, and I don't want to do that. So she's supposed to be looking up. And if we're not investing in mapping out the face, if we're not investing, then we know that mistakes are going to happen, and we have to embrace it, and we have to keep going. I like the old school drawing. You know, I'm inspired by the vintage. So this lady's gonna have a hat on too, because that lady's covering her head. This is a challenge, but it's also kind of fun. Now I'm gonna spice it up by using a different colored marker. And maybe it makes it easier when you're sort of overlapping everything to have some different colored faces going on in there. And then we'll try another side one here where this lady's sort of looking over. woman has a hat on. So I filled one side in. Let's see what we can do with the other side. It's funny when you try to stick to tiny faces, but large faces appear. So let's see. Remember, we are not caring about perfection. We are focusing on practicing and seeing what we can do. I know that once you get into a certain style, it's kind of hard to break free. And so I really want to progress with how I'm drawing my faces. So I like the way these turned out, but again, letting loose and setting yourself free from a certain specific habits that we've gotten into when it comes to drawing faces. I know that I have a specific habit, and maybe it's a specific style, but I do want to have a little more character to my faces. So I'm going to give it one more go, and I'm going to use a pen. I've got a gel pen. I'm going to hold it really loosely, and again, just practice letting go. And maybe not, I wanted to do small faces, but we'll see how this goes. Now I'm on a third practice session because as much as I love that first face that I showed you, I think that was my favorite face that I drew today. I then made a big mess of that page, so I started again. it's interesting how when you're trying to get out of a certain mindset or a certain way of doing things, or if you want to draw small faces and then you end up drawing big faces, how you kind of have to just turn the page and keep going and not give up. This final page was my absolute favorite. I'm going to include some like a review at the end of this video where you can sort of see this particular page. I'm just showing you a few of the drawings I did, but at the end I'm going to show you the full spread. I got into it. I did different faces. I did older faces, younger faces. I drew men's faces. I think sometimes it just takes a little while to warm up and get into it. Once I let go, the ideas really started flowing. In fact, you don't even know you're having ideas because your pen is just going, you've let go, and things just start coming out onto the page. And I think that's really what I wanted, instead of trying so hard when you're drawing a face. And I don't know how many pages it's going to take each person when you're practicing to finally get into that sort of sweet spot where the lines are just flowing and your hand is flowing, and the images or drawings are just showing up on the page. It's really interesting because I really feel like when you try really hard, that's when the drawing looks really stiff, and there's just a look to that drawing that you're trying really hard at, versus when you let go and you hit that spot where things are just flowing. There is a difference. And so I feel like the first page I was trying a little too hard. The second one I tried, and the first drawing was great. And then this is the third try, and I think this was my favorite page that I did today. So the sun has set. It's made it difficult to show you the drawings, but this is the first page, which I think was pretty good. I was happy with it, but I don't feel like I got out of my comfort zone enough. Let's see. Then this was the second try. A few more faces. Actually, I had a few tries. Let's see. I did that one. These ones weren't too bad. This one was my absolute favorite. And then the final. This was, in my opinion, where I really broke free from what I'm used to doing and really trying a little more. I did a man's face there. I got really sketchy, almost urban sketchy like, and that's what I want, because I do want to get into the urban sketching a little bit more. But wow, this was super fun. I'd love to hear if you gave it a try and what art supplies you used and how it went for you. I also have my How to Draw ebooks, my How to Draw Faces ebooks, which are more in line with these faces, more in line with these types of faces. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day and happy sketching. Here is a sneak peek of one of my books called How to Draw Faces. Thanks so much, everyone. Happy sketching.